My name is Zachary Camarillo. I'm an instructor for CAM-ASEAN. So what we talked about previously, we talked about prefixes and suffixes. So this is part 3 of our video. What we're going to do is just practice. We're going to do some exercises together. So remember, what's important is the meaning, but not just the meaning, what words we use these for, okay? What situations do we use these for? Now, remember, we can treat it like vocabulary. We can treat it like vocabulary. If I want to say not happy, it should be unhappy. But remember, we want to kind of try to go beyond vocabulary. We want to try to use these in the correct way. So, let's try some. So, here we are. We have prefixes that we're going to use. Now, this is what we have to pay attention to. We want to make the opposite, okay? Opposite. So these are negative prefixes. So we know un is not, dis not, or opposite, okay? So un is not, in, dis, ill, im, These are all to say not. All of these are to say not. So that's the easy part. But remember, there's two things. Not only do you need to know the meaning, you need to know what situation we use each one for. Now, you kind of have to just memorize and practice, and you start to learn as you go. So let's try some. Let's try some. So, happy. What do you think? What should we say? So I'll give you a second to think about it. Remember what we said about prefixes. Happy is an emotion. It's a state. So we probably should use un. Okay? Un. So unhappy. Let's say unhappy. Now correct. So it's either correct or incorrect, but are we saying a feeling? Are we saying a state? No. So it shouldn't be un. Shouldn't be un, probably. So incorrect. Okay? Incorrect. Now some of these I know to use because of what they're related to. So some of these I need because of the word it's a part of. So you'll notice that IR and IL, even though they mean not, we often use them with the words that they start. So it's going to start with an R word, it's going to start with an L word, and then we just match it. Okay? So that's why so legible, meaning can I read it, not do I know what the word means is it easy to see. So legible, I can guess ill. Illegible. So let's try these. So unhappy, incorrect. So remember the difference between un and in. Un and in. So all of these mean not. All of these mean not. Okay? Just what do we use them for? Not states. And the rest you just kind of learn. I know it has to be IL because it's got to match. Now pack. What do you think? Pack. What does it mean? Pack means put something in a specific order. Put something away. What we're talking about, ideally, is a situation. Unpack or pack. Ooh, what do we think? In or im. Now, a good rule is usually we use im with P words. You'll see im with P words more. That's just common. So remember, it's a mix of there's not a lot of rules. We have to know what makes sense, and then we also have to know what is common. Usually, if it's a P word, it needs im. So impatient. What do you think about regular? Remember what we said. Sometimes we know because it has to match, like L's and R's are matching. So let's take a look. I can guess. It's IR, irregular. So remember, these are all opposite. We're making the negative of all of these. Friendly. Is it an adjective? Are we describing a person? Is it a feeling, a situation? We probably need UN. You guessed it. Unfriendly. Like pack, like lock, describing something, describing a situation, unlock. Ooh, you see P, you know a P word needs im. So it must be im. Remember, they are all negative, they all mean not. What we're trying to notice is what patterns do I recognize? What prefixes normally go with what types of words? We're trying to get a pattern. We're trying to understand this in an easier way. Ooh, V, a V word. Normally, V word, it would be invisible. So we will do invisible. Sorry, I spelled that wrong. Okay. Employed, meaning I have a job already. ED suffix, meaning in the past, complete. So, employed, we're describing my situation, describing a person, describing a feeling. You know it's got to be un. Agree. What do you think? Agree. Well, agree is a verb, and I mean opposite of action. If I'm talking about opposite of action or undo, opposite of action, it's got to be dis, not un. It's not just not, it's undo. Remember, focused on action. So it's got to be disagree. Ooh, L word again. We just match it, IL. So illegal. P word, like we said, P, we need the IM. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for pattern. Impossible. Great. Honest. What do you think? What could it be? Dishonest. And we already said this one earlier, disappear. Let's check. Well, if it doesn't work, it's okay, because these are all the right answers. Unhappy, incorrect, illegible, unpack, impatient, irregular, unfriendly, unlock, impolite, invisible, unemployed, disagree, illegal, impossible, dishonest, and disappear. And we have to know the situation to get the full meaning, not or undo or not for other words. And that's really all it is. The reason we have so many nots is because we want it to sound good or be easy to say. And that's why and P are together. They're close and they're easy to say. ILL, IRR, This is kind of the pattern we're seeing. Okay? Well, let's try some more. So those are prefixes. So let's do some more. So let's do prefixes and suffixes. Okay? So prefixes and suffixes. So this one's a little harder. We have to decide, are we going to do the prefixes or are we going to do the suffixes? So that's the question. So let's look at the sentence and try to guess the answer here. So I can't answer this question. It is. So I'm going to modify this meaning I don't need to change the form. Remember, suffix is to change form. I don't need to change the form. I'm already talking about ability, but I want to change the meaning. Can't answer, it's not possible. Remember, I am for P, impossible. Great. So don't stand near the water, it's too danger. Danger, okay? Danger means something has danger. Has. So here's the thing, we're not changing. So we're not changing the meaning, we're changing the form. It is to, I need to make danger adjective into noun. So, OUS. Dangerous. Now, why dangerous? Why not dangering? Well, we're not talking about action. Dangered, we're not talking about past action. Dangerance, A-N-C-E, is the same as E-N-C-E, state or quality of a big thing. Quality of something big, that doesn't quite make sense. Dangerance, dangerful, maybe, full of danger, but remember, dangerful is to describe something else. So to make adjective, here we want dangerable, able to be danger, dangerly, action is danger. We already have ER, so we ought to say us, O-U-S. And what does that mean? It means the overall situation of something, okay? So we're using it as an adjective. We're making an adjective here. So dangerous. So I don't like fish. It's not very well. Now, discook, uncook, I'm not changing the meaning. I'm probably changing the suffix. We're changing verb into adjective. So we're describing it. It's probably cooked. I can guess from the situation. Past tense. I'm not talking about cooking. Okay? And I'm not saying it's cookable. I'm not saying there's the ability to be cooked. So remember, meaning plus situation. Meaning plus situation, so I can know which one to use. Now this one is easy. Crying is not something we do when we're happy. So probably opposite. We said opposite feeling, unhappy. If you have a haircut, it will change your appear. Appear means show. So what do you think? Related to the showing. Verbs into nouns make adjectives. So what we're talking about is related to it. The quality, the state. Quality or state. So we should probably say appear. What can we guess? Ants. Appearance. Remember, E-N-C-E, A-N-C-E, they mean the same. We just use different spelling for different words. Sorry, too many letters here. So, patient, Paul never waits. He's too opposite. He never waits, it's opposite the meaning. We said I am for opposite, but P word, so impatient. Good. Thank you for your advice. You have been very helping. We're not focused on action. Helped. We're not focused on past action. Dishelp, unhelp, these don't make sense. We can't change the meaning of this verb because we're not saying not. You very. So what do we have to do here? We have to use both. Now this is the hard part. We can use both, always. Prefix changes meaning, suffix changes form, so it can always be both. So here we have to do both. Thank you for your advice. Oh, this one's not. So we don't use both here, just the suffix. It could be unhelp, full. Helpful, full of help. Helpable, ability to help. You are helpable. You have the ability to be helped. You are helpful. You're full of help. You're helping me. Okay? Think of the situation and try to make the best guess as possible. Learn the words as you're practicing and try to look for patterns. Try to look for things that are similar. Stealing other people's money is probably not honest. We said this in a previous exercise. Dishonest. Great. So our science teach. Oh, we talked about this, remember, ER, person who gives. So, we know. We need to make teach verb become noun, and we're talking about person that is teaching, the person doing, so it's got to be ER. Remember what we talked about. ER makes noun from verb, and it means person or thing doing the verb, doing the action. Okay? So let's keep on going. Harry didn't think the book was very, interestful, interested, interesting. Now, it's important. Let's talk about this really fast. So, remember we said suffix ed and suffix ing are to make verbs. Now, when we use these with feeling verbs, if we're using this with feeling verbs, don't forget, we have a rule, okay? Ed is my feeling, or the feeling itself, okay? Ing is what gives the feeling. What gives the feeling? So ed is the feeling, ing is what gives the feeling. So let's look at our exercise here. So we said interest. Interest is a feeling. So remember, when we're using feeling words, we have to change these. So feeling is interest. So interested is my feeling. Interest. Interested, my feeling. Interesting, the thing, the person giving me the feeling. So what are we talking about here? Am I talking about the thing that gives me the feeling, or am I talking about my feeling? Well, here we're talking about the book. The book has no feeling, so it must be giving me, so I have to use ing. It was interesting. So, important to know what your suffix means. Suffix is giving us meaning and changing form. Keep that in mind. Okay, so £1 million was given to the hospital by an not known. Known is a state. How do I know? States are non-action. Remember, states are non-action verbs, verbs with no action. Meaning, states are verbs that live inside of me. Action that is inside of me is a state. I know. Action outside of me is not. So if it's inside of me, I know it's a state. States are unknown. Good. When you write is a verb, but I'm focusing on specific action. What is happening specifically? Action, focused. Whenever we use ing, it's focus action. It's always focus action. Okay? So, not a feeling word, not a state. Remember, these are for states and for action. So remember, this is outside of me, it's action, it's not a state. So here I have to use ing because I'm focusing on action happening. It's not wrote, because it's irregular, so I don't use ed. And I'm not talking about the past, I'm talking about focus action. So Mary was wearing an usual means normal. Usual would be a state. Normal is a state. Unusual. That was a great film. It really was. Enjoyed. It was really enjoying. Now, that doesn't quite make sense because I'm not describing how I feel. So remember, ing is giving me the feeling, ed is how I feel, okay, but we're not talking about that. Remember, we're talking about what situation? Look at the situation to understand. It was really, so enjoyed, I know it's a feeling word, but that's not the situation we're talking about. I'm talking about ability. Can or is. Can it be or is it? Remember what we said. Able. Suffix. To talk about can be or it is. So, if I'm talking about can be or is, it's got to be able. So this is why it's important, because I enjoyed it, it's enjoying, enjoyable. Here's the thing. There's more than right answers. There's more than one right answer. There's more than one possibility. But there's only one possibility when we consider the specific meaning. Because remember, all of these can make adjective or all of these can make noun, but what is the specific situation I'm trying to use them for? Okay? So that's what we need to focus on. Now let's do this one here. So I like this town. The people are very, can we guess? What do you think? Are they friend-able? Ability to be friend doesn't make sense. We're not talking about can or is. Full? Friendful? Maybe. But the people are very friendly, related to. So remember, friendly we use for characteristic, okay? Resembling, okay? Or characteristic of. It is like something, okay? It is like something. And then this one's easy, so don't make it negative. I disagree. Dis with action, for states. So remember, that's what we're checking for. So this is why it's important, okay? Now, let's review before we end. So there's a lot of exercises online. I recommend practicing. It takes a lot of practice to get these. We have to see a lot of examples to understand how we use them. So, focus on the two things. Remember, you need to focus on the meaning, but also what situation do we use it for, okay? Meaning and what situation do we use it for? We're always looking for two things, okay? So, prefix, we're looking for two things. What is the meaning of the prefix, and what kind of word are we using it with? What kind of situation are we using it with? And then same thing with suffixes, two things. Is the suffix for noun? Is the suffix for adjective? You got to know the form, but at the same time you also need to know the meaning, because I need to know what word I use the form for. Because remember, a lot of suffixes make noun, a lot of suffixes make adjective, a lot of suffixes make verb, but I have to know what situation I use them for. What words do I want to use them for? And that's how we're using them. So remember, you can make your own word, or you can take a word that you see and try to understand it by breaking it apart. Suffix, root, prefix, related to the science of atoms that are small, okay? Try to understand these words backwards. Because remember, form tells me type of word, main word is the definition, prefix changes that definition. So when we're looking at words like this, I always try to go backwards. Form, root, prefix, and then you can understand it. So these are important. They're important to make your own words. They're important to understand words that you've never seen before. And the more you read, the more you advance in English, the more you start to see specific patterns. And the more you learn, the easier it is. So if you can know what these mean, it's so much easier than memorizing endless amounts of vocabulary. So that's what I recommend. Now, take a look at the sheets I give you. So there's going to be some links for you. So you can use some links to practice, use the links to review. Remember, I'm going to give you a big list. There are more suffixes than this. There are more prefixes than this. So I'm going to give you a big list for you to go through as well. So you can take a look at those and practice them. Okay, well, thank you so much for listening to me and following along for prefixes and suffixes, and we'll be back for a different topic next time. Okay, thank you so much and have a good day.